Good to see everybody. Happy to take your questions.
How different, you kind of talked about it at the end of the year press release, knowing that you got ownership is settled, not looking for a head coach, you got your quarterback. How different is this offseason from your previous since you've been in Denver?
I mean, it's really good to have those in place, obviously. Great ownership, great head coach, really good quarterback that we think is going to be a franchise quarterback. But, I mean, the challenges are still there. The needs are still there. The musts are still there. There's always a challenge every offseason, and this is no different, and we're going to have a really good offseason. Yeah, I mean, we have a few years, obviously, but you always want to build, and we want to build the right way and build the best team around the quarterback, and that's just our process moving forward. The best defense, the best special teams, the best offense, explosive elements, of course, we want to do that, but just build the best team around the quarterback, and maybe you're a little more aggressive as you move on in his career.
When you studied the film, what led to some of the breakdowns against the run late? How could they be addressed?
I mean, that's probably a better question for Sean. I mean, our run defense, we were top 5, I believe. There's some games you're just playing a really good team. And I think you're talking maybe the Chargers or the Bills. Those are good teams, and we didn't play it good enough. Maybe it was just for a quarter or two we didn't play the run good enough. But I think we played really good run defense overall, if you look at the whole totality of the season. But there are areas we can improve. We took a big step. I think we were late 20s in run defense 2 years ago, and this year we're in top 5. So we took that step. We'll keep building. You got to build in the trenches. You got to build that defensive line, and we plan on continuing to do that.
Along that line, DJ Jones, will you talk to his agent here at the combine?
I will, Mike, definitely.
And what's your position?
We really like DJ. We'd love to have him back, and we'll have those conversations.
You were able to get a deal done, George, with Garrett Bowles last year.
Yeah.
Do you hope to have similar success with Cortland? Do you want him back for the long term?
Oh, I mean, Sean addressed it. Cortland's one of our guys, team captain. I mean, I've said this for a couple of years in a row. We want him here. We'll have those discussions at the right time. We'll meet with his agent here, like we always do. Yeah, with all the agents. We meet with all of our team's agents.
George, give a little scouting report on Darren Mooney, what the Jets are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a really good one. And Mooj was just instrumental in me the last 4 years, just kind of my go-to guy. And for everything. I mean, he was a part of every decision that we made, good, bad. And I would say the thing that sticks out with Mooj is just everything he's seen. He's been a part of Super Bowl teams. He's been a part of rebuilds. He's been a part of everything in between. So just that experience to go with everything else that he has. And I always felt like he was a hidden gem. And I was surprised why teams weren't talking to him. So I thought I may have him for a few more years, And then I knew if he just had an interview, he had a really good chance of getting the job just because he's going to blow away an interview. He's really smart, really intelligent. He has a plan. He knows what he wants. He knows how to build. So you really have a good one.
George, have you connected with Bo at all about offensive prospects that you guys have looked at?
Oh, we talk when he's in the building and guys that he may know. And we're in our draft meetings and someone played at Auburn whenever he played 20 years ago, who knows? But so we'll call, Sean will call him. But we talk to all our players about guys they may have some background with, certainly.
And it's looking like he'll probably be drafted too high up for you guys to select him. But a guy like Travis Hunter, would you say he's more wide receiver or corner?
Well, I mean, he can be whatever he wants to be. I mean, he's that talented. We're still working through it, but I think he's going to play, he should play on both sides of the ball, so I'll just leave it at that.
George, talk about the way you did. How do you replace him?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fortunate thing with me coming here, they had a really good staff in place. We've added some really good people in place. John did a really good job he had a good staff. You look around the league, and so was really fortunate. We've been developing people, scouts, for this. And we knew if we had success, we would lose people because we had really good people. And that's part of it. And that's what you want when you're a leader. You want success breeds opportunity, and opportunity for those like Mooj and Robbie and Thews and David Shaw, but also opportunity for people in-house, and that's the goal. That's what you want. That creates a really good culture.
George, you guys were the latest teams the last couple of years to kind of be toward the top in terms of dead money and still make the playoffs. What is it kind of, maybe forcing you some benefits or things that you were able to do?
I just think we couldn't miss last year. We really had to be strategic, and it's not easy. I mean, we didn't hit on all of them, but we had to hit, and we didn't have all the money to go. So, I mean, every year we do that, and you don't always hit. But I just think you don't always need the big splash. You don't always need to buy your team. You build it the right way. You draft, you develop, you're selective in free agency. You're hopefully measured. Does that mean you're not going to have a big signing this year? No, but I think for the most part you just have to be measured.
In the last few years, what have you learned from the hits and misses that you had in free agency, like you said, injury?
Well, some of the injuries some of the misses are injury related. Some of them are fit. When you have 4 coaches or 3, I don't know how many we have, lose count. Rosberg's in there somewhere. It's hard to really build continuity and scheme and everything. So I think most of the time if you bet on makeup, and they're all talented, but if you bet on makeup, work ethic, if they're going to fit the culture, and then typically you'll hit on those guys. But not always. There's so many variables, and injuries obviously is one, and a lot of other things. But yeah. I mean, that's a really good question. I would just say there's positives and negatives. The positives, you get to see how these players react with money in their pocket. They still love it. They still work at it as hard as they did. Is the main thing still the main thing? Is football their priority? And so we do get a taste of that. And so I think that's very helpful. Gosh, I can't. I'm not going to talk about injuries, but he's fine. He's back in the facility. He's working out. He's going to be good. Yeah. Related to what? It was not. It was not.
4 years ago, you took Javonte. If he's in free agency, do you plan on pursuing a similar style of running back in this year's draft?
Well, I mean, there's a chance we bring Javonte back, and I think Javonte is one of the best pass protectors in the league, and I think he's still young and he's still ascending, another year removed from the injury. But I think there's so many different flavors in this draft of runner, and we have some backs that we like, and so it's going to be an interesting process. It already has been, just to get to know these runners. I know we're searching for the Joker. It's kind of like the Loch Ness Monster, trying to find a goddamn Joker. But I've played Sean's teams that had them, and they're hell. So. A lot of different backs. I think it's a good year to maybe, go get a back because there's so many. But yeah.
What specifically makes it so, like you said, a Loch Ness Monster, not finding them?
Well, they're just mismatched guys. They're hard to find. Whether it's a receiver, whether it's a tight end, runner, guys that can just stress the defense in so many different ways, and you can't single cover them. And so there's just not many of those guys in the league. Really, there aren't. And you can count them on one hand, how many there are. So it's unique. We're always searching, and we'll find one, certainly, at some point. Yes. Mike, we're still working through it. Nothing. We're not going to do anything until after the draft. But I really like my staff. I know we're missing, like I said, we lost 4 guys, four guys. So everyone's going to have to pick it up. And again, a great opportunity for everyone to take, the next step forward. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Yeah, I mean, what's the best thing they do? And there's very few that are mismatch types and that can block. Typically, if you're a receiving tight end, you can grow into a blocker. It's hard if you're just an inline wide to develop as a mismatch receiver. So you're looking for just the traits to develop in your scheme. What are you looking for? Are you looking for the inline Y? Or you're looking for that kind of receiving F. And so you're not going to get, unless you're picking really high, you're not going to get one that can do both at a high level typically. But you can develop them. Can we develop this player?
George, other than the validation of getting best draft or whatever after your first one, it's hard to beyond wins or Super Bowls.
Yeah.
He has 2 wins defensive player of the year. First round pick, how validating is that?
Oh, it's validating for the organization. It's validating for everyone in the organization that helped develop him. Now, he didn't need a lot of development. This guy walked in. We didn't have to do a whole lot, but our sports performance team, the day-to-day, the training room, and the coaching staff. We've had some really good defensive back coaches, good defensive coaches that have helped Pat. But truth be told, Pat didn't need a lot of help. It came from the family he came from. Obviously, I was with his dad in Miami, and it's pretty unique to have a player like Pat in your organization. Well, I mean, yeah, we think Sanders can be a starter in this league at linebacker. Now, let's see how it goes. We're going to keep adding good players. Competition. We just want competition at all the positions. So we're not anointing anyone starters, but we just want to keep bringing in competition, and we'll get good results. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's really not really. I mean, I think it's if you look in the league, it's a space and cover league. Now, I know we got exposed a little bit in the run. It wasn't all the linebackers. Maybe it was guys up front who got out of their gaps. And you don't have to be big to be physical inside. I mean, we like them long. We like them athletic. But no. I think so. Yeah, we went through our Bronco personnel meetings, and I think, our highest graded position groups were probably offensive line and defensive line, the way they played. And I think that really dictated the success we had this season. Obviously, the young quarterback going like this, but really in the trenches where you talk about sack differential. I mean, that's what it's all about. We were one of the best in the last 30 years. That's pretty unique. We went from 27th in sacks allowed to 3rd, and then, set the team record first in the league in sacks. And so that's what it's all about. That's why you just keep feeding those lines. No, it's really beneficial. You can add blue chip players throughout the draft. It's a little more difficult, but it just gives you more flexibility. I mean, when you're in this, you can move back in the first, you can move back in the second, just get picks. It helps you work the draft board a little easier when you have a second. When you don't have that second, it's hard to move up in the first. And so it's huge. The second round's a key area. We've done pretty good in the second, and so it's great to have it. Yeah, I mean, it's a priority to you've kind of seen our model, the young player draft, develop, even like guys like Bowles. We like to take care of our own, and so we'll just see. And Nick's obviously had a breakout year. He's a dynamic player, and we want him here a long time.
George, what do you get the most out of this week? You're going to rank the thing.
Yeah, that's great. I just think, I always talk about it's a race for information and just gathering more information on these players, and you can get all the testing. And that's great for the analytics guys. The scouts are always, does this validate my report or not? But I think just getting, like Sean said, just getting to know these players face to face, even though it's only 20 minutes. But then you can go to the informals and just it's another step in the process to get to know these players. And man, we're making big decisions on these players. We want to really get to know them.
When you're going after a quarterback like you were last year, it seemed very extensive. Meet them, interview them, go to their pro days. How about when running back and tight end?
I think you'll see the same, and we'll kind of target certain positions, certain players. Doesn't have to be a top 15 player. It could be a second-round player, but I think you'll see the same. You want to hit on them, regardless if it's a quarterback or a tight end or a tackle. And so, especially if Sean hasn't seen a player, or, wants to be more familiar with the player, he likes to go out and do some private workouts. So I will do that as well.
George, being in 20 instead of 12 or 9, does that make your job more difficult in projecting who's going to fall?
Yeah, I mean, I think by the time we get close to the draft, we'll have an idea. You're never sure. You'll have hopefully 4 players there that will be there. I don't think this draft, we're still getting to learn. We're still getting to know these players. I don't think there's as big difference from 10 to 20 in the draft, really. I think you can sit at 20 and maybe get the same caliber of player. Again, it's early, so I hesitate to say that, but I think it's going to be good at 20.
George, guys, time for 2 more. George, looking back on the past 2 draft classes, is there a player or two that specifically jumps out that really saw their stock rise after the combine?
Wow, that's a good one. I cannot think of one. I mean, oh boy. Mims. Mims ran really fast, and that was kind of the last thing. We like the player. We like the person. What's he going to run? All the scouts are in the suite. What's he going to run? And then I think he ran 4.38. Just validated what we saw on tape.
Broncos are a talent team on the rise. How much of a part should they have?
Well, it's only a team on the rise if we take advantage of this offseason. I mean, like Sean said, nothing's guaranteed moving forward. We made the playoffs. We lost in the wild card. You start over. And that's what we're doing. We're starting over, and our sole focus is just upgrading this team each and every day.